D2 Word Life here, and welcome back to the Wrestling Review Podcast here, and I'm here with Riptidz, and well, we got a good one for you. We're talking about Survivor Series that took place as of this recording last night.
Yep.
But before we get into that, as of the time of recording, it's Riptide's birthday today, so everyone wish him a happy birthday.
Yep.
Okay, great, but before we get to the big surprise at the end, which I'm pretty sure everyone knows about, let's talk about this event as a whole. The opening match was a Women's War Games match. It was Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, Shotzi, and Becky Lynch taking on all of Damage Control, which was Bayley, Asuka, Io Sky, and Kairi Sane with Dakota Kai. Okay. So, what's your thoughts on this one after the crazy Wild War Games match we've seen that the women performed at the start of the show?
Shotzi fucking really showed off how fucking ballsy she is, dude.
Yeah. A lot of wild high spots in that one.
My God, dude, she went fucking nuts.
Yeah. Or let's not forget Io Sky's freaking crazy dive from the top of the cage with a trash can on her head.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got to have a lot of faith. That was
nuts, too.
I'm like,
and apparently that was her fifth War Games match.
Yeah. And when I seen that, I thought to myself, you got to have a lot of guts to trust all your opponents down there to catch you, knowing you can't see shit with a trash can on your head.
Like I said, they had balls. Metaphorically speaking, but they had balls.
And then I liked how Bayley kept taking all the damage in that matchup from the opponents at the end. And Bayley took the freaking table spot, and she took the pinfall, making Belair, Flair, Shotzi, and Lynch the win.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and we even saw a reunion between Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. Looks like they're on the same page again after their issues.
Well, for one night, so we'll see.
Well, for one night,
hopefully.
but I wouldn't mind seeing them feud again, honestly.
Yeah, or tag together again.
I wouldn't mind seeing Becky Lynch in the title picture for Io Sky's championship at some point.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see what happens from here following this War Games match. But either way, the opener was a great way to open the show at Survivor Series this year.
Yep. It was a fucking banger.
In the next one, we had Gunther, the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion, taking on The Miz with the Intercontinental Championship on the line. So your thoughts on that one?
Bully asshole, man.
Yep. Hey, Miz fought his ass off in that match against Gunther.
Yeah, no, the Miz even told him, hey, I may not win in the nicest way, but I will do anything to win the match.
Yeah. Even resorting to cheating tactics near the end. Like taking the turnbuckle pad off, exposing the steel there, giving Gunther a low blow, which Gunther kicked out of. Is Gunther's balls made of steel or something?
He was probably wearing a cup. Because he kicked him right through the goalpost.
Yep.
Well, he kicked him in the knee, fucking tried to kneecap him, and then fucking just went, field goal, kick.
And of course, during the match, I did like the spot where the Miz used the finger four on the ring post on Gunther. That's a throwback to what Bret Hart used to do.
That's a throwback to Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, and Ric Flair.
Yeah, I mean, the Miz fought his ass off, but in the end, the Miz submitted due to a modified version of a Boston Crab. Which
he also had Gunther fucking jump on his goddamn back.
Yep.
And fuck up with it.
Yeah, and if you notice, Gunther also put his knee on Miz's back during that submission hold, which I'm like, that's a throwback to Chris Jericho's old Lion Tamer finisher. with the
Yep.
way he modified it, I'm like, that was a good way to end that match, and it was a fight.
Well, it also kind of reminded me of the walls of Jericho. Because Jericho would put his knee at the back of his opponent's heads.
So yeah, either way, I think that was a good one. Gunther retains the championship. Now it's just like, what's going to happen from here? Is this feud going to continue, or who's going to be Gunther's next opponent?
I think they'll probably have a couple more matches before they do it with their opponent.
It's like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch between the two for the Intercontinental Championship again. So yeah, I mean,
but this time a no holds barred match.
That's probably the direction they're going to head. I guess we'll just have to see and wait what happens.
Yeah.
So after that encounter was done, we come to what I believed was the filler match. It was Santos Escobar taking on Dragon Lee in a singles match. Originally was supposed to be Carlito, but that didn't happen.
His name is Santos Dickabar.
But honestly, I understand the story they were going with this one. I mean, Carlito was supposed to be in the match, but he got taken out. Dragon Lee was put in, and I felt like they did their job, but I felt like this was a match they could have just done on SmackDown. But overall, what's your thoughts on that one?
Well, he was trying to prove himself to Rey Mysterio because Rey Mysterio said, "Oh, you're going to be the next Emperor of Lucha Libre or whatever." So he was trying to, because Rey Mysterio was saying, "Oh, I respect you and all this," which he does respect Dragon Lee for all of his accomplishments that he's done inside and outside of WWE.
It's like, yeah. And I just felt like this match could have been benefited from with Escobar facing Mysterio after what happened at Crown Jewel, but due to Mysterio's injury, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And then you had freaking Escobar kissing up to Dominic in the build-up for this one.
The condom.
And I'm just like, okay, they're trying way too hard for this. Right?
He was sucking something else besides trying to kiss up to him.
Ugh. I'm not going into detail with this with that, but okay. But either way, it served its purpose. Escobar got the win also, but I just felt like it was a match on SmackDown. I think that you could have seen on SmackDown. I believe it was a weaker match on the card. But they went out there, they told a story, they did their job.
They threw Dragon Lee into the match because Carlito was going to face him. Then Carlito got taken out on Friday. Rey Mysterio was supposed to face him. He got taken out.
Yeah. So yeah, I understand the story they were telling. I'm just saying it could have been better, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, like I said, they just threw Dragon Lee into it because he's like, "Oh, I'll do this to basically protect Rey Mysterio's name and shit."
Yeah. So either way, it served. It did its job. It did its job fine.
Yep.
It told the story it needed to tell, and we're probably going to have a longer feud between Escobar and members of the LWO.
Yes.
Which may eventually accumulate to Rey Mysterio taking him on at some point.
Yeah.
After his injury. So
most likely.
So the next match we got was Rhea Ripley defending the women's world title against Zoe Stark. So, your thoughts on that one?
She fucking went gung-ho the entire fucking time, dude.
There was points in the match where Zoe Stark looked like she had it won last night.
Yes.
I mean, She's like, yeah, attention to detail. How do you like the war paint Zoe Stark was wearing last night during that match, too?
She was ready for battle.
Yeah.
She didn't give up one fucking second. She fucking stood her ground against Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. I think out of all the championship defenses Rhea Ripley had since WrestleMania, I think this one was the toughest one she's had so far. And she
because Zoe Stark was countering her for counter.
Yep. And Rhea Ripley barely got the win out.
She barely got time to hit her Riptide. Barely.
Yep. That coming from someone by the name of Riptides.
Yes, whatever.
Sorry, I have to point that out every time we freaking talk about a Rhea Ripley match.
Yeah, she stole my name, my gamer tag.
But anyway, this match. It's like that match was alright. It served its purpose. And it was actually a better brawl than in my opinion, I think it was a better match than Escobar and Dragon Lee, the match that came before it.
Yeah, well, did you see what Rhea Ripley was wearing, though? She looked fucking crazy.
Yeah, and according to the commentator, she was also wearing a pair of Dominic's boots. I don't know why that was relevant to what we're talking about. I just remember them saying that on commentary last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, but either way, it was all right. It was great. It was great, but it's now time to talk about the main event. And what a main event it was. And, during the whole show, it's like they were building up a story because a certain someone hasn't returned yet to the arena to confirm whether he's in the match or not. And we all know who we're talking about.
Yep.
So it was Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and a mystery partner. Ooh. Taking on the Judgment Day, which was Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Dominic, and JD McDumbass, and Drew McIntyre in the Men's War Games match. Now, before we get to that mystery partner, which ain't really a mystery because I hinted at it on Raw, your thoughts on this one before the last person for Rhodes' team came out? What was your thoughts on it?
It was good. It had Seth Rollins facing off against Finn Balor
to start the match.
Yep.
And it just became another chaotic brawl like the Women's War Games match that opened up the show.
Yeah. But that's how all those War Game matches are.
Yeah, but then and the Judgment Day had the advantage, which meant the last person to come out was Cody Rhodes' mystery partner, which really ain't a mystery. I don't even know why I'm referring to it as that.
It was Randy Orton.
Thanks for ruining it. I was about to mention it, but right when the final countdown happened, Randy Orton didn't come out, which that was a mystery partner. And then but instead everyone heard Rhea Ripley's music start playing in the arena. It looked like Damian Priest was going to cash in on Rollins right there, knowing Rollins was destroyed. But that didn't happen because guess whose music played?
All you hear is I hear voices in my head.
And yes, Randy Orton did come out, making his return after 18 months due to injury with his bad back that he had.
Double infusion, double back fusion surgery.
Yep. And everyone went nuts about that one.
Dude, when Randy's music hit, I'm like, oh, you guys have just done fucked up.
And I liked it when Dominic was like, okay, I got this. He went up to Randy Orton and proceeded to get his ass kicked. Oh, and before that, let's talk about that one spot involving Dominic Mysterio that we were talking about earlier last night. Before Orton came out, remember when he was like, "Yeah, I'm taking everyone out," and all of his opponents just surrounded him.
He was freaking. He's like, "Oh, I got this, guys. I got this." Freaking. He's like, freaking Corey Graves is all like, "Oh, let's hope that Dominic doesn't get flashbacks of the yard." And he just starts doing the Three Amigos on Cody Rhodes.
And then
freaking it stops and freaking showboats like Eddie did, but Eddie did it better.
And then all of his opponents just surrounded him.
And everyone got it. All of his opponents just got up. So Seth Rollins, Jay,
and Sammy.
And Sammy freaking just got up, just surrounded him.
They surrounded him, and he looked around and he goes, "It was at this moment he knew he fucked up."
At this moment, Dominic knew he done fucked up.
And all of them just started pounding the hell out of him.
Yep.
Yeah, but then let's talk about the ending of the match. At the ending of the match, freaking JD McDumbass ended up being JD McShitty Pants, climbing up to the top of the cage with, I believe it was Jey Uso and Sami Zayn chasing him up there.
Yes.
Or it could have been, or one of them could have been Rhodes. I'm not totally sure. I don't remember exactly. I'm gonna have to watch that match back.
It was Jay and Sammy, because Sammy was kicking him in his chest up on the top of the cage.
Yeah, and then what do? They freaking launched him off the top of the cage to get caught by Orton's RKO.
He became JD McDead.
Exactly. And then Cody Rhodes got the win after hitting Crossroads to get the pinfall victory.
Yep. Well, Randy could have taken it, but Randy's all like, "No, this is your time."
And, it was a great celebration. The faces won. Everyone was happy. It even showed the graphic like, "Yep, this show's over." But then something else happened.
I also liked how they did vintage Randy. When Randy Orton did vintage, he was like, 1, 2, 3, down.
All of them did the whole second rope DDT spot. That was great. But, the faces won. Everyone was happy. Everyone was going to be sent home happy. It even showed the watermark saying, "Yep, this is the end of the show." But then something happened that we never thought was going to happen. Should you talk about that, or should I?
You look back onto the Titantron. All you see is two fists wrapped up with an X. And then you hear the cult of personality.
So the way Survivor Series went off air, and this isn't a joke, CM Punk actually returned to WWE after almost a 10-year absence.
He's finally back, everyone. Everyone that wanted to see CM Punk come back is finally here.
And now following his failed AEW run, this kind of opens up the doors for possibility of matches involving Punk with the current roster here. But all in all, I can't take away that great moment. That's a moment I thought I would never see ever again.
I only expected Randy Orton to come back last night because that's what they were saying. And then they were contemplating of bringing CM Punk back from all the rumors that were going around.
Yeah.
And then he shows up in Chicago.
Yep. And that's a moment I thought I'd never see. I mean, I heard rumors about CM Punk. I've been seeing hints being dropped on WWE television about Punk's return, but I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it. And it actually happened.
Right at the end. Then once you hear that cult of personality, you see CM Punk walking through.
And even though we heard the rumors, you and I probably both made the same face at the same time, like, what the?
Yeah, no, right when I heard that, I'm like, no, please don't let this be a gimmick. Please don't let this
be a trick. Yep. And I think
sometimes they've done that where they've just played the superstar's music and then the superstar never shows up until like Monday or Friday or whatever they're going to put him on.
Yeah.
And then they show up, but he actually showed up.
So, yeah, seeing all that last night, I'm just like, oh my God. So, all in all, what would you give this? What letter grade from A to F would you give the Survivor Series 2023 event?
If I could give it a higher grade than an A, I'd give it an S. It was fucking great.
You would give it an F?
S.
S. Okay. It sounded like you said F. I'm like, what? This ain't an F-worthy show.
No, I said if I could give it a higher grade than an A,
It would be
I
an
would
S.
give it an S.
For S tier, yep.
Yes, but other than that, A plus tier.
It's like for me, I don't do the pluses or minuses. I just stick with the A's. This one is an A for excellence, and it was a great show. I would recommend it. The only freaking match that was the weakest on the card was the Escobar-Lee match, but they did what they did. That's not a knock on the wrestlers there. It was just the time they were given. It felt more like a SmackDown match.
Yeah.
But besides that, how can you top the return of Orton and the return of Punk? I don't think you can. And that's what made this event hold up, along with the Wild War Games matches.
No, there was no, because I loved how Randy Orton came in at the end of fucking, because they were going to put, they were going to cash in the Money in the Bank on Seth Rollins at that time. And then all you hear is Randy's music. And then it's just like, oh, fuck. We shouldn't have done this.
So now, this opens up the possibility for future feuds for both competitors.
We might see a feud between Jay and Orton.
That's true. Who was the last person Orton wrestled before he went off on injury? It was Jey Uso in that tag match.
Yep.
From last year in May.
Yep.
So it's like, that could be a feud there. But the big question is, what are they going to do with CM Punk now? We don't know yet. Pretty sure we might get answers in the coming weeks.
They may feud him with Seth Rollins.
Or another possibility is they could have Punk win the Rumble.
They could feud him with Roman Reigns.
They could have Punk win the Rumble and freaking have a feud with Roman Reigns for WrestleMania. That's a possibility.
Or they could have them do both championships.
Yep. So either way, I think this show was great. Overall, I guess we're just going to have to see and wait what happens in the coming months. I just know our next current WWE pay-per-view review won't be until January for the Royal Rumble show.
Yep.
Which means the next podcast we do for next month will be a classic review, which we're going to be covering at some point in December.
Yep.
Because I want to do classic reviews too, not just the current stuff, also sporadically here and there.
Yeah, we were talking about it.
Yep. So until that happens, we will talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye-bye.